Hello, dear learners. I welcome you all to yet another module which is based on the basic training on poultry farming. The main purpose of introducing this module is to explore how the production of meat and egg of poultry can create livelihood for those who want to set up their own farm or enterprise. Here, we shall introduce the learners to the basic poultry management skills essential for running a poultry farm and make it as profitable as possible. It will also put some light on the potential of poultry industry as a mode of partial resolution of the unemployment problem through generation of self-employment. We hope after completing this module, the learners will be able to enhance knowledge and skills in the use of advanced technology in poultry farming and health management, increase productivity in poultry farming, and run poultry farm as a business. What does the term poultry mean? Generally, the term poultry refers to all those species of birds which are reared for economic benefit and they should be able to reproduce freely under captivity. Poultry includes chicken, duck, turkey, etc., whether they are alive or dressed. This module will introduce the learners to the basic poultry farming skills for running a poultry farm as profitable as possible. Why poultry farming is important and what is the scope of poultry farming? Poultry is one of the fastest growing segments of the agricultural and elite sectors in India today. The main purpose of poultry farming is the production of eggs, meats, etc. Poultry farming has assumed much importance due to the growing demand of poultry products, especially in urban areas, because of their high food value. The poultry sector offers excellent career prospects for aspiring entrepreneurs, farm managers, and hatchery managers. Employment opportunities also exist in the area of poultry, meat processing, and feed milling. Now we have different types of poultry breeds. Now, what are those breeds? Several hundred breeds and varieties of chicken have been listed with their physical features in varying in size, shape, and color, etc. Most of the present-day chicken used for production of eggs and meat are cross of different breeds, varieties, or strains. As we have said that there are many chicken breeds, out of them, these are the most important chicken breeds. 1. Rhode Island Red. The Rhode Island Red has a long rectangular body and reddish feathers. Birds grow up to 2 to 3 kg in case of male or 1.5 to 2 kg in case of female. It lays brown shell eggs of around 150 to 200 eggs per year. This breed is used for development of brown shell egg hybrid breeds. Then we can refer to White Leghorn. It's a very popular breed for commercial egg production. Products up to 300 white shell eggs of comparatively large size per year. It has complete white feathers. Then we must refer to Karaknath. It is also called Kalamasi, meaning black meat. It is native to Madhya Pradesh. Karaknath chicken meat is black in color and eggs are brown in color. Annually, it lays around 150 eggs. The eggs have high protein, which is highest of all chicken breeds. The Central Food and Research Institute, Mysore, studied its medical qualities and determined that it is suitable for cardiac patients as it increases blood supply to the heart. Now let us look at the duck breeds. The breeds of ducks may be divided according to the purpose for which they are raised, like meat, egg, and ornamental type. First, we shall look at the egg type. Ducks normally begin to lay at about 6 months of age. Ducks of the improved laying breeds, for all practical purposes, are non-broody. For the purpose of fertilized egg, one drake for 5 to 6 ducks is normally allowed, with slight increase in the number of drakes at the beginning and towards the end of the season, during which time the drakes are less active. Drakes should be placed with the ducks at least 1 month before the fertile eggs are required. Then Indian runner. Indian runner has an average record of more than 250 eggs per annum and is second only to Khaki Campbell. There are three standard varieties of runner ducks: the fawn and white runner, the white runner, and the pencil variety. Then Khaki Campbell duck. Among the egg-laying breeds, it is the best producer. Individual egg production of almost an egg every day in this breed for well over 12 months has been recorded, and flock average of 300 eggs per duck per year. The egg size also varies from 65 to 75 grams. Now let us look at the different meat type ducks. Though duck meat is widely accepted among the non-vegetarians, still it is not popular due to the non-availability. First, we shall refer to white Peking duck. It is the most popular duck in the world, known for table purposes. It is fast growing and has low feed consumption with fine quality of meat. Their eggs are tinted white, which is considered less important than its capability to produce excellent quality meat. Then we have Muscovy. Muscovy is the next best meat type duck in the world. It is a grazer and eats grass. Other breeds, the Muscovy male has no curl feeders in his tail. How is the housing management, or how should be the construction of poultry houses or sheds? To obtain the maximum production and profitability from the poultry, good management of poultry, including the house environment, is very essential. Housing and equipment account for most of the capital of a poultry farm. The poultry house should be designed to protect the birds from extreme weathers, parasites, predators, and thieves to avoid the development and spread of infections and contagious diseases. There are two types of rearing systems. One is all-in and all-out system. Then another one is multiple age group system. The first one, that means all-in and all-out system, means that all chicken of similar age are placed in the house at the same time, reared and then disposed of also at the same time, since there is less chance of disease spread from batch to batch. Now let us look at the housing for broiler. The poultry farm should be in the east-west direction lengthwise. The width of the farm should be 20 to 22 feet and the length should not exceed 250 feet. The central height of the farm should not be less than 10 feet and at side it should be 6 feet. Food baths should be made in front of the main entrance in such a way that no one can actually enter without dipping food into it. Then housing for layers. Good laying house management also follows the same rules applied to the ground house, with some additional requirements related to egg production. Then we can refer to cage house. Cage house has some advantages like easier culling, less problem due to parasites, predators, and other diseases, since the birds do not come in contact with other and litter. Large number of birds can be kept in a limited space. Uniform and clean egg production throughout the year is also very much possible. Then how do we manage litter? Litter management plays a very important role in controlling the diseases of the flock. When birds are housed on deep litter, placing of water and their maintenance should receive due attention to keep the litter dry. The litter should be stirred at regular intervals depending on the environmental temperature, humidity, ventilation, facial moisture content, quality of water system, etc. Before the arrival of chicks, brooder house should be cleaned, disinfected, and fumigated. Feeder, waterer, etc. should be properly cleaned. Whitewashes the wall to be made compulsory. Dried sawdust / rice husk up to 5 cm deep should be used as litter, spread newspaper over it, etc. Chick management also includes brooding. Brooding of chicks is very important operation in the early age of the chicks. Chicks are provided with required temperature by artificial means. Day-old chicks need brooding up to 5 to 6 weeks of age. Now let us outline some of the requirements for the preparation of poultry house or shed. It should be cleaned and disinfected before the arrival of the chicks. The floor to be painted with lime. After this, leave the floor empty for 1 to 2 weeks before the arrival of the chicks. Heat or light should be provided for at least 24 hours before the chicks arrive. The floor has to be covered with clean and dry litter up to 2 to 4 inches thickness. The litter has to be covered with newspaper at least for the few initial days so that the chicks will not eat litter material by mistake. Brooder house should be dust free, rainproof, free of rats and mice, and protected against all sorts of predators. The shed should be well ventilated to minimize ammonia production, which causes ill health to the chicks. On the day of arrival of the chicks, it is important to ensure the following points. Check brooder temperature. Provide the feeds in mass or crumble form. Electrolyte supplementation in drinking water will reduce transportation and environmental stress and also reduce initial chick mortality. The brooder guard should be 2 to 2.5 feet away from the hoover. GI sheet, cardboard, bamboo or plywood sheets, etc. can also be used as the brooder guard. For the first 2 days, feed is sprinkled on the paper and after that chick feeders are provided. Chick waterers should be provided first day onwards. Arrange the feeders and waterers in cartwheel manner so that chick need not have to walk long distance to access feed and water. Now, how should be the temperature? Reduced light will result in less active flock. Therefore, temperature needs to be regulated by adjusting the height of the hoover, which have a number of bulbs or flame. Brooding temperature under hoover 2 inches above litter at the top should be 32 to 34 Fahrenheit with weekly reduction of 5 till it reaches 27 Fahrenheit. This is the list of brooder temperature for chicks at different ages. How should be the feed management? Feeding management is the simplest method to ensure adequate nutrient intake in hot climate, and it is also effective to combat acute heat stress. If we consider the feed management of broiler, generally there are 3 forms of feed in the market. They are mass feed, pellet feed, and crumble feed. Various types of broiler feeding programs are followed in India, widely used as pre-starter, starter, and finisher ration. Feed formulated only for broilers should be used. The broilers should be given full feed continuity to attain early market weights. After we have seen the feed management of broilers, let us look at the feeding management of ducks. Ducks may be grown on dry mess, a combination of dry and wet mess or pellets. Ducks prefer wet mess due to the difficulties in swallowing dry mess. The pellet feeding, though slightly costly, has distinct advantages such as saving in amount of feed, minimum wastages, saving in labor, convenience and improvement in the sanitary conditions, etc. Ducks are good foragers. The use of wrens, pond or supplementary green feed reduces the feed cost. Ducks should never have access to feed without water. During the first 8 weeks, birds should always have access to feed, but later on they may be fed twice a day, first in the morning and then in the late afternoon. Khaki Campbell duck consumes about 12.5 kg of feed up to 20 weeks of age. Afterwards, the consumption varies from 120 grams and above per bird per day and depending upon the rate of production and availability of greens. Then how should be the water management? Water is an essential component for all types of living organisms and is required for all the physiological functions of the body. Water quality is an integral part of poultry management. Poor quality water may lead to poor health status due to gut infection, reduced body weight gain, decreased immunity, etc. Contaminated water may also reduce feed intake and efficacy of vaccines and medicine. Now, let us have a look at the management of breeding. So, broiler traits: rapid growth rate, excellent livability, best feed conservation ratio, increased resistance to diseases, lowest cost meat production, and developed to perform in extreme climates. Layer traits: grow faster and produce more eggs, increased resistance to diseases, lowest cost egg production, and developed to perform in extreme climates. Health management: health status and poultry welfare are mainly influenced by housing conditions, proper ventilation, feeding, hygienic measures, infections, etc. Then how do we monitor health? Regularly clean the houses and check the litter. Clean and disinfect all equipments and appliances on regular basis. Provide proper ventilation, lighting, and avoid overcrowding. Do not mix different ages or species of birds. Provide well-balanced quality feed. Now let us look at some of the common diseases of chicken and how to prevent and cure them. One of the diseases is coccidiosis. It is a common protozoa disease in domestic birds and other fowl, characterized by enteritis and bloody diarrhea. The intestinal tract is affected, with the exception of the renal coccidiosis in geese. Clinically, bloody faces, ruffled feathers, anemia, reduced head size, and somnolence are observed. Now, what is the treatment of coccidiosis? Anti-coccidial drugs mixed in the feed are used to limit high levels of infection. Keep the chicks' feeds and water away from droppings. Keep litter dry and stir frequently. Remove wet spots and replace with dry litter. Then also avoid overcrowding. Then the second type of disease is called infectious bursal disease, or IBD. In infected chickens more than 3 weeks of age, there is usually a rapid onset of the disease with a sudden drop in feed and water consumption, watery droopings leading to soiling of feeders without the vent, and vent pecking. Feeders appear ruffled. Chickens are listless and they sit in a hunched position. So what is the treatment? No specific treatment of IBD. Vitamin electrolyte therapy is useful. Vaccination is the best for prevention of IBD. Then we have another disease called Ranichet or Newcastle disease. Newcastle disease is a contagious viral infection causing a respiratory nervous disorder in several species. Labored breathing with wheezing and gargling accompanied by various signs such as paralysis or twisted neck are the main signs. Drop in the egg production 30 to 50% or more, returning to normal levels in about 2 to 3 weeks is observed. Besides, the quality of the egg also gets affected. It becomes thin or loose in color. Now, what is the treatment? No specific treatment is available. Antibiotics can be given for up to 3-5 days to prevent secondary bacterial infections. Prevention programs should include vaccination, good sanitation, biosecurity programs, etc. Then there is another type of disease called Marek's disease. Marek's disease is a type of avian cancer. It is characterized by incoordination, unthriftiness, paleness, weak labored breathing, and enlarged feeder follicles. Scaly combs and greenish diarrhea are also seen. Treatment is not available. It can be prevented by vaccination at the hatchery itself. Then another disease called fowl pox is also there. The dry form of fowl pox is characterized by raised wart-like lesions on unfeathered areas such as head, legs, vent, etc. If the scab is removed before healing is complete, the surface beneath is raw and bleed. In the wet form, they are canker-like lesions in the mouth, pharynx, larynx, and trachea. There is no treatment available. However, vaccination is, of course, available. Then there is another type of disease which is called aspergillosis or Brooder pneumonia. Treatment and prevention. The disease can actually usually be prevented by avoiding moldy litter, feed, or premises. Let us quickly look at the diseases in ducks. One is duck plague. Adult birds are mostly affected. Vascular damage with tissue hemorrhages are seen. Free blood in the body cavities is also seen. Lumina of intestine and gizzard are filled with blood. No treatment for such a disease, although secondary infection can be prevented. Birds can be protected by duck plague vaccine. Duck viral hepatitis, this is another, and duck cholera is yet another disease. Duck viral hepatitis mainly affects duckling of 2 to 3 weeks of age. Birds can be protected by attenuated strain of virus which is given before the commencement of egg production or day-old ducklings. The disease is not stated to be prevalent in India. Then duck diarrhea is almost often characterized by loss of appetite, high body temperature, thirst, diarrhea, and sudden death. The disease can be controlled by sulfa drugs. Then there is another type of disease often seen in the ducks, which is called aflatoxicosis. There is no specific treatment for this. When the source of aflatoxin is removed from the feed, birds make rapid recovery. When we talk about the diseases in the poultry, we also have to refer to the vaccination processes and types. Vaccination is an effective means to prevent and reduce the outbreak of specific diseases in poultry. A standard vaccination schedule should be strictly followed in all the farms to reduce the loss due to morbidity caused by microorganisms like bacteria and viruses. The following points should be followed for proper vaccination. The vaccine should be procured from reputed medicine stores where the cold chain is maintained. The vaccines should be done only to healthy birds and should be carried out during the cool parts of the day. While doing vaccination intraocular or intranasal route, leave the birds only after the drop disappears. Keep the vaccination records properly. Reconstituted vaccines should be used immediately. Never store the reconstituted vaccine for the next use. When we talk about poultry farming, one of the most important term is biosecurity. Now, what is biosecurity? The combination of all measures taken to reduce the risk of introduction and spread of infectious diseases at the farm level throughout the region, country, or even nationwide, it actually comes under the concept of biosecurity. It is the very basis of successful poultry management. The following measures must be implemented for effective disease control. 1. Before entering and after leaving, people and visitors should wash hands and use disinfectants, food dips. While entering or leaving, all vehicles must pass through full disinfectant dips. Control of wild birds, rodents, and other disease vectors are to be ensured. Now, what is food bath? Food baths should be provided at the entry of each shed. Water in food baths should contain an approved disinfectant in its recommended dilution. The solution should be changed periodically. Then footwear, preferably disinfected rubber slippers, should be made mandatory for everyone entering the farm. After we have learned about the different diseases in poultry, mainly in broiler and ducks, and also after we have learned about the different measures to be taken, now shift to what are the risks in starting a poultry farming business. Now, disease outbreak, lack of quality feed, high cost of feed, low HCAbility of eggs in summer, high cost of medicines and vaccines are some of the risk situations in the poultry farming business. Risk management practices among the farmers are enterprise diversification, marketing and production strategies are to be taken care of. Now let us look at poultry farming as a source of business. Business is an economic activity where products and services are exchanged between parties. Gaining profit from businesses require some amount of investment. On the other hand, sufficient consumers are required for marketing of products. Poultry farming as a business is a threefold process: poultry farm management, production of poultry products, and processing and marketing of the products. As such, before jumping into the poultry business, one should go through a few steps, as stated below, to acquire the required background information and understand the scope of poultry farming as a viable business solution. An individual farmer who wishes to indulge in poultry farming business should work for some days with someone who is experienced enough in that field. This period should be utilized in learning minute details of farm management and production, processing of farm produces, marketing and management of the unsold produces, potential loss and its mitigation strategies, etc. After this exposure, but before indulging in the actual poultry farming business, one should also study about the market demand of produces, types of produces, the target consumers and their preferences, etc. Some knowledge about the technical aspects of selling products to consumers is also required. So, the knowledge about the consumer's preference and interest in buying a specific packaging of the produce and the methods, rules and regulations applicable to that particular packaging may be very helpful in expanding the poultry farming business. If you would like to start your own business of dairy farming, pig farming, goat farming, and poultry farming, you may approach the following government institutes, organizations, and agencies for information regarding training as well as for securing some loan or funding to start your business. First, we must refer to the National Livestock Mission. National Livestock Mission intends to achieve the objectives of employment generation through entrepreneurship development in small, ruminant, poultry or piggery sector and fodder sector, increase of per animal productivity through breed improvement, increase in the production of meat, egg, goat milk, wool, fodder, etc. Under the Entrepreneurship Development and Employment Generation Scheme, the government provides financial assistance to the eligible entrepreneurs. Next, we should refer to RSETI, means Rural State Employment Training Institute. Rural State Self-Employment Training Institutes is an initiative of the Ministry of Rural Development, having dedicated infrastructure in each district in the different states of India, and this institute impart training and skill upgradation programs for the youths geared towards entrepreneurship development. Third, we can refer to Mudra Loan. Mudra Loan is offered under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Mudra stands for Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency. Under this scheme, borrowers can avail business loans ranging from 50,000 to 10 lakhs on the basis of the Sishu, Kishore and Tarun categories. In a state like Assam, we have the Directorate of Extension Education under the Agricultural University, and this directorate is located at Khanapara, Guwahati, and it provides training on dairy, poultry, pig farming, etc. Lastly, we have to refer to what we may call MANAGE. MANAGE was established in 1987 as the National Center for Management of Agricultural Extension in Hyderabad by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Government of India. In recognition of its importance and expansion of activities all over the country, its status was later elevated to that of a national institute in 1992, and it was rechristened to its present name, that is, National Institute of Agricultural Extension Management. MANAGE offers its services in the following 5 streams: management training, consultancy, management education, research, information services, etc. I hope this information will obviously help you in case you need some ideas regarding whom to approach for information on training, loan, etc. Here I would like to end this module. I am hopeful that what we have discussed above will be of some help to you. I encourage you all to open up poultry farms and hatchery unit and maintain them as part of a profitable economic endeavor. So see you again. Until then, goodbye.